Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic as known classics. This is number 25, 28, and that was number 24, 22. I got Batman Beyond and Justice League International to worry about, which there's a trade for that one. I'll discuss that. But first, Batman Beyond, Hush Beyond, which collects the entire third volume of Batman Beyond, which is only 6 issues. Now, for some reason, DC look at it, they list this as set in a different universe. I think it's set in the regular DC universe because they reference the events of Return of the Joker in here. Because in this book in particular, this is set after the events of not only the TV show, but also Return of the Joker. Also, as you can tell by looking at Terry McGinnis on the cover, he has got a six-pack, something he didn't... He was still in shape, per se. This is more defined. This is probably like before this epilogue. Now, Waller isn't here. Old Lady Waller, who did appear briefly in, Epilogue. I mean, there's a lot of references to previous continuity, to the continuity itself in this one. So I acknowledge this one as part of the canon. Written by Adam Beach and artwork by Ryan Benjamin. The cover is by Dustin Negan. Plus, you gotta love this variant cover by J.H. Williams III. It's beautiful. So we have murder scene at Neo Gotham Cadmus Labs. You think, wait, Cadmus? As in just like a TV show? Yep. So Waller basically expects someone's killing people off. Of course, you have Terry dealing with, Spellbinder. There's also a recurring theme in this book is that Terry is getting very little sleep. Yeah, he is not sleeping very much at all. I mean, Bruce, it was mentioned by him, he actually slept for 4 hours every night, while Terry doesn't sleep at all. They run into the Micron, and of course has an opportunity. Of course, he turns it down, obviously, and then of course we have this guy gets killed by the mysterious slasher. And this is how the artist draws Terry McGinnis, which I'm like, what the heck is up with his face? It looks so weird. Eventually, watching Zorgan, it's like, I only watch them once a year. Once. Go back in there. Yeah, the whole thing of what he's doing here, he's building something that will play a role at the end of the book. So, match with the Justice League, and of course we have the various, and it looks like that the Batcave's been updated at the end of the series because those tubes look different from what you saw on the TV show. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they changed it. I don't know why the artist changed tubes for. I thought that was kind of weird. And of course, they mentioned about that there's a guy by the name of Philip Cobb, the Signal Man. You're thinking, wait, he never appeared on Batman animated series. Yeah, he didn't. This was the first time he's ever mentioned. And somebody's killing off all Batman photos. Then we see the Mad Hatter. And oh boy, he is really, really old here. Like, wow. Old Mad Hatter. Yeah, and it turns out the person behind this is in fact Hush. Now, it's not... Now, I should point out, though, they do mention what happened to Thomas Elliot in this continuity. Batman did fight him, and supposedly he died. And they never found a body, but here's the thing, he's not Hush in this book. Nope, Thomas Elliot is not Hush. It is interesting the fact that Waller sort of was Miss Amanda Waller on her, her office plaque. Yeah, and of course, basically, then we brought up the whole mention about Batman's last battle with Hush, which I love the fact they go with the artist goes with the design that Jim Lee first gave him back in the classic story Hush. And he should have presumed, I think it's his girlfriend and his wife, but she doesn't have a bra on. She just has panties and a robe. Yeah, and of course they did find the body and they did find it's him. And then of course we cut to a man named Jared, whose wife killed hostage by, of course, Hush. Now, who is this guy, Jared? Well, he apparently was a one-shot villain named Armory, fought Batman once, killed people with umbrellas. Yes. Oh, by the guy's name is James. Jared's actually named his son. And there's no mention here. There's show an image here of Penguin and Two-Face. That hasn't got done yet. And then we see the debut of the new Catwoman here. Yep. Who I don't think appears after this. I don't remember if she does or not. Basically, she's kind of in the way. And Terry's like, oh, I've always wanted my own Catwoman. You gotta appreciate the fact Terry McGinnis is a big Batman fan. Yep. And then, of course, Terry runs and meets up with Julian Gregory Day, the Calendar Man. Yep, he's in this book. Those of you thinking, Nick, who the heck is the Calendar Man? Did you not play Arkham Origins? He's basically a serial killer. Well, he's a serial killer guy who likes, he's obsessed with holidays. Now, the look he's got here with tattoos on his head, that's actually something that Tim Sale gave him. That for some reason, DC has decided not to change that back to his original look, where he was basically like a guy covered in calendars. He had very cheesy attire. He is what is simply referred to as a C-lister. I know who he is because I read comics. And then Terry meets Hush. Yeah, fights him briefly, and of course, Calendar Man dies. And of course, Terry is at home, and of course, his mom is drawn really weirdly, and his brother. Like, what the heck is up with the artwork when it comes to this one? And then, oh yeah, what's behind those? They're bath race, which they play a role at the end of the book. And then Terry texts him with Terry McGinnis. Terry's with Tim Drake. Which this is how you can definitely confirm this after the events of Return of the Joker, because, well, they mentioned he was a Joker. He was this way because they took his whole body. He's fully cured. Terry runs to the Catwoman again, and of course, then he meets up with somebody who's a friend of Tim's, Dick Grayson, making his first appearance in the Batman Beyond timeline. Yep, and he's lost an eye. He maybe got older, and then of course we have the Catwoman who takes off her mask, and well, seems like a lovely face. And notice she gets killed by, of course, Hush. Then, of course, basically, Terry talks with Dick Grayson. Yeah, and apparently he actually retired due to... Okay, they reveal in this book the reason why Batman has the cape. Like, the official reason is to strike fear in criminals. That's true. But it's also to hide stuff. It's also good protection. And because Dick didn't have a cape, that's why he retired. Because his suit wasn't apparently his suit didn't have apparently just cloth, which to me doesn't make much sense. Now it's interesting though the fact that the artist gave him the Prime Universe costume. Here, I'm not sure why, but they do. So then we have, Dick's last battle with Joker, where he got shot, and then, of course, then we appearance in here by Max, the beautiful woman who's basically Terry's best friend. Now, the thing is, one thing that was clearly established when she showed up in the series is that, aside from the fact Terry admits she's a very beautiful woman, he has no interest involved with her romantically. Why? Because he's got Diana. He just sees her as a friend. His guy deals with Hush. Yeah, and then it's revealed that, Dick Grayson never again. Yeah, it's revealed in the final issue it's not Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is not Hush. It's actually just a clone. Also, for some reason, in the case of Barbara Gordon, she has this thing where she keeps leaning over her desk like this. I'm like, yeah, for some reason she keeps doing that. I'm not really sure why. And also, there's this woman who's on the run. we have from Catamus. Yeah, it turns this woman is actually, get this, she is the granddaughter of Thomas Elliot, the original Hush. Yep, so, and then of course Catwoman sees that Terry's injured, so Bruce talks her into using the suit to basically heal him. Of course, she takes off her helmet and like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's revealed in this very issue that apparently she is the daughter of Multiplex. Who is Multiplex? He is an old Firestorm villain. Yep. And there she is. Got a very beautiful woman. And of course, thinks the suit fixes her. And look, about to take her in, and then of course she's saved by, well, Dick Grayson. Like, I believe you got a appointment with an old friend of mine. Yep. Yeah, Barbara Gordon, which, yeah. Yeah. And of course, Terry with the mask gives her a kiss on the cheek, like, oh. And of course, this is when she feels, oh yeah, her full name is, Dr. Reed is Nora Elliott Reed. Her grandfather was Hush. And Barbara is, once again, listening to her, so she's, I'm like, seriously? Could you not have basically sit properly at a desk? Why the heck do you have a slash up like that for? Yep. There's also reference in here Barbara and Dick's relationship previously, and of course, Terry's wounds bandaged up by of course Batman, and of course in the clone Dick Grayson breaks the Batcave. And we finally get a closer look at the Batsuits, and this Batsuit here, the one here on the left, this looks like the one seen, I'm thinking, from Justice League. Yes. And of course, well, they reunite, and of course, Dick is working with, well, Terry. Yeah. It seems like a lot of these characters tend to be like offspring of like characters already established, which I don't have a problem with that. It's like Next Generation, so of course, basically. And of course, then of course, Bruce resolves the whole situation with Dick, with Terry, and of course, they kind of reconcile it in the book. The book itself is really, really good. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Next up we have is Justice League International, Volume 6. I have previously reviewed for Justice League International. There's the two Oversights books I have reviewed already, so those contain the first 30 issues. This book contains, for Justice League America, 31, 35, and Justice League Europe, 7 through 11. Yep. Of course, written by Keith Giffen, James Manias, and William Messner-Lobes. Art by Adam Hughes, Brett Sears, and Art Nichols. The cover art is done by Brett Sears, Art Nichols, and Alan Perswick. Yep. So, we first start off with the Tensile Imperative storyline, which brings in also Dr. Fate in the storyline. Well, a female Dr. Fate, that is, yes. Yeah, this kind of in a way is the first, you could say it's the first official crossover between the two of them. Yeah, and it's Linda Stretch. She's a female Dr. Fate. She, along with, I think, her stepson, who's also Dr. Fate as well. Yeah, and in case you're curious, though, she's basically an original character created by Jay Matias and Keith Giffen, who made their debut in Dr. Fate #1. Which I believe was a miniseries. Yeah, it was a miniseries. Not an ongoing, a miniseries. Yeah, which is a 4-issue book. And then we had, of course, Volume 2, which that was an ongoing series. Lasted for 41 issues. They say here 42 was actually 41 issues plus an annual. There was also Volume 3, which was a limited series. 5 issues. 4, which is the last of the book, which was published in 2015. That was an ongoing series that got canceled. In the 90s, there was basically the series Fate, which, yeah, this started a completely different guy who just happened to wear Dr. Fate's cape. Yeah, and this starts a storyline that starts here and continues over in just like Europe. Yeah, and they also bring up in here that the Doom Patrol has been occupying the Secret Sanctuary briefly because Maxwell loaned it to them. Which, yeah, that confirms that Grant Morrison stuff is canon to DC Universe at this point in time. Mm-hmm. So part 1 is Justice League America 31. Justice League Europe number 7 is part 2 of the story. Part 3 is Justice League America number 32. Yeah, and the Spectre's here along with Simon Stagg. Yep. And then part 4 is in Justice League Europe number 8. I think it's just a quick 4-part story, if I remember correctly. Yes, I think it's just 4 parts, and that's it. Yeah. Last few issues of the main book for Justice League Europe. Issue 9 is mostly put basically dealing with a woman named Catherine Corbett, who is basically, well, it was like I think it was a new character. And there's also a thing in here where Superman is doing surgery on Power Girl in the storyline. Yeah, where basically, thanks to him, he saves her life. And then, of course, you have a new character named Crimson Fox, whose twin sisters Constance and Valentina Artemis. Constance, Valentina's one joined Justice League Europe, and she actually sadly died before the series over. Before Justice League America ended. Her sister also was Crimson Fox, and she's still very much alive. Which, I'll talk with them eventually. I did enjoy the whole storyline of Superman saving Power Girl's life. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, by the way, issue 34 is basically Guy Gardner. We also have first appearance of Joseph Mason. Who is Joseph Mason, you might ask? He is the son of Rex Mason, aka Morpho, and Sapphire Stagg. Yeah, he stopped appearing. Yeah, for some reason his last known appearance was back in Birds of Prey 53. Yeah, that was the last time he appeared. You would think the son of Metamorpho and doesn't pair for much. I mean, the most high-power book he appeared in was the Metamorph book they published in the 90s, which cured him of his powers that his father had. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, okay, so what about the remaining issues of Just Like America 33, 35? Well, mostly put, basically, it's just, well, we have Kilowog, who doesn't know much stuff. He ends up working with the team as their, like, engineer, because he's an engineer. He actually fixes a lot of stuff for them, which they appreciate that. And then 30, 34, and 35 is Club JLI. Yep. Which is basically all about the island stuff. And Aquaman gets involved. Yeah, it's an island that called Kui Kui Kui. Yeah, it was something that appeared in this very book. It made its debut in number 3 for Justice League International, and appeared here for these 3 issues here for a storyline evolving where apparently Blue Beetle and Booster Gold decided to take some money from Justice League International to operate their own resort for a few issues. Yeah, I found these issues to be really good and a lot of fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to viewing these in the future. Yep. So, from this point forward, for Comic Corners with these digital books, I have 2 more Batman Beyond trades in the Pola. So, with the first one, I'll review issues of Justice League America, and, well, basically the countdown, breakdowns, and I'll do Justice League Europe with the second trade. That one lead also into breakdowns, plus with any annuals come at the period of time. But this was also the last ever volume release for Justice League International trade paperbacks. Don't know why DC never released anymore until they released those oversized books, which basically like they just did something different with them for some reason. I don't know why, but they did. Yeah, pretty much. If you look at the two oversized paperback books, the Born Again, that book in particular is, well, the best way to describe it is that it is basically the first two volumes and probably and a handful of issues of the third volume in just one book, and then like book two is the rest of book three, the entire book four, and book five all rolled into one. Yep. And by the way, that volume 6 came out in 2011. So yeah, 12 years ago. And DC just doesn't want to finish collecting this stuff. I don't know why. And there's no like book 3 for this one. And the last one came out 2 years ago. And I'm talking about an omnibus. I'm talking about one of those big books. Which I like these books. I kind of wish to do more. Because I feel these books would be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, yes, I do know about the omnibus books. I do know about those. So, am I going to review the omnibus books? I don't know. Well, the first book, I don't need to worry about that one because I've reviewed everything in that one already. Second book, I just reviewed part of the stuff released in that one. I might review it at some point, possibly. I probably could do that. It depends. Yep. But this could pretty much be a particular view. By the way, Justice League International is taking over for the Justice League America and Justice League Europe. That's taking over for for JLA. And once I'm reviewing these two books in particular, I would basically get Justice League out of the 1990s completely. Yep. As for get the whole book done, that would be quite interesting. Yep. Excuse me. But yeah, by the way, Fire and Ice, great characters in the book. Yep. But check the book issues out. You can have a lot of fun with this books. I've always had fun reading Justice League International stuff. When it was Justice League International, Justice League America. I have asked Jamie T.S. like, what was the reason for, like, why was the book changed? He did not know the reason why the name was changed for. I mean, I could ask Keith Giffen that, but sadly, Put the Man is no longer alive. You would think DC would do a tribute for him, like, release more Justice League International stuff, because that's what basically people know him for. Nope. They rather not. Nope. I do have other Justice League International stuff. Yes. There is also there's a couple short-lived books. Like there is, I think I do have. I can't believe it's not Justice League. Yes, there's that one in Forward No Justice League. Yeah, this is the Super Baddies books. I'm definitely looking forward to basically reviewing these. Yep. Okay, so that's particular view. Next up is, well, Super Sentai, My Hero Academia, and back to Super Sentai for a couple more episodes. And then after I finally get a chance to do my anime. Okay, next video. Bye.